What is up, guys and gals? Space Unicorn here, bringing you another max level character montage gameplay. Just kidding. This is Victor. We're going to take a look at strengths, weaknesses over some gameplay. Let's go into the arena. Alrighty, guys, so here we are with Victor, starting off with free-for-all. As you guys know, I love this because it allows me to talk to you guys, and I really don't have to try too hard in free-for-all most of the time. Occasionally, there's somebody we have to try with. It's not very common. So, with that being said, this is Victor. Victor is a tanky boy, for lack of a better term. He does have, at base, some of the highest stats in the game. He has two ultimate abilities. One is a ground smash that allows you to stun enemies for a bit of time, and usually it's enough time to kill with Victor, because at the right range, Victor does a lot of damage. A lot might be an understatement. He has the potential to one-shot the squishies if you hit the shot correctly. I'm still kind of working on his shot placement a little bit, which is definitely different than a lot of the other characters. It doesn't feel like Diggy, for example, who also has a shotgun. It kind of feels, I don't know, it's just strange. I can't really think to explain it. Anyways, his other ultimate ability is a running ability. He runs around, knocks people up in the air, also creates stun, but this is more of a for your teammates to follow up for the kills than you. But you can hit multiple people with this, as it does last for about 7 seconds. This is a very useful ability, especially if you're trying to break a pesky hold and your teammate's competent in their aim and able to hit their shots once you stun them. This can lead to a lot of kills for your team very, very quickly. As you can see here, we're just bopping this Iris up in the air. I'm actually trying to hit her off the map. There we go. I do like doing that. Environmental kills with that ult are a lot of fun. But anyways, so what are Victor's strengths? Well, a couple strengths right off the bat. He does have a lot of health. And with his rush, or his dash ability, which is the secondary, he is able to cover a lot of ground quickly, preventing a lot of those really annoying squishy characters from getting away. This is one of the tanks that can cover a lot of ground, but he needs to because his weapon doesn't allow him to shoot very far. Unfortunately, the weapon at anything past point blank does have a huge amount of drop-off in the arena, which is not what you want necessarily, but on this character, if it were not to have that drop off, he would be really, really too good. And we got to keep that in mind whenever you're balancing a character. Overall, Victor as a tank is viable. I don't know if I would pick him over Jabali or even Fort, for example, as those two kind of have a unique niche where your team can play behind you for a bit of time very, very easily. And that's just kind of something to keep in mind, guys. But I will say that this character does have a place, especially with how much stun he is capable of dishing out. This character can stun all the pesky characters. If you hit an Aletta, guess who's stunned? The Aletta, and she's one-shot vulnerable. Big time one-shot vulnerable. If you stun a Shell, guess who also is one-shot vulnerable? Diggy, one-shot vulnerable. Kazame, one-shot vulnerable. All these characters are one-shot vulnerable to this guy. And that's something very useful, especially since there isn't really hard counters for a lot of the flanks in the game. If you're really good with this card, and I do mean you have to be really good, he will counter those cards somewhat effectively. Just kind of something to keep in the back of your head. Now, another thing that is really good with him, as we've mentioned briefly before, is the stun. The stun, the stun, the stun. The stun is incredibly valuable, whether it's for your personal eliminations or for your team getting the eliminations behind you. I can't believe I just walked past that Scotty, whatever her name is. Hurt feelings. Oh, man. But yeah, so we want to keep that stun in mind whenever you're playing this guy. Play corners, use your rush tackle, or whatever you want to call it, to get the eliminations. Is this guy good in a tank fight? Yes, he does do a lot of damage compared to his fellow tanks. But that's because he doesn't have the shield like his fellow tanks do. Whether it's the 9,000 shield from a Fort or the 21,000 shield from a Jabali. Just something to keep in mind. Now, let's get into a TDM match, and we're going to talk about, well, what are his weaknesses, and kind of sum up this whole video for you guys. Here we go. Alright, guys, so here we are in TDM. As I stated, he does have some weaknesses. The weaknesses pretty much are due to very slow speed, or it feels really slow because he's so big. He's actually about neutral on speed, but He has a gigantic hitbox and is very easy to pick out and pick off if you're at any form of range past his effective barrier. This is something you got to keep in mind if you were going to play this card in the arena. Otherwise, you will find yourself in bad situation after bad situation because, well, you're just easy to hit. That's the reality. But overall, I do enjoy this character. I like his voice lines. I think they're funny. I like his skins. The sushi skin is awesome. Just something to kind of get you guys into that arena. If you like this character, check him out. Be sure to play him in the arena. Let me know your thoughts on him in the comments down below. I thank everybody for coming. I hope you all stay safe. And be sure to check out one of my other T3 videos that'll be coming along shortly. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mine.